Hi, I'm AJ. I taught myself how to play the guitar at 13 years old. Fast forward to now, despite having an on and off relationship with the guitar, I've gotten to a good enough level to play solo gigs, be the lead guitarist of a band, produce my songs with it for Spotify, and what I consider the promised land of guitar playing, to improvise solos, all while being self-taught, and this is how I did it. Now, these practices aren't just limited to learning the guitar. These are all applicable to anything that you want to learn. I'm just using the guitar as an example because it's the thing that I've had the most success with, that I taught myself to do. But that being said, these are the 4 things that you need to know to teach yourself anything. Learn things that excite you. It's easier to learn something new when it excites you. I first felt intrigued of the guitar when I saw family members pass one around when we were on vacation. Everyone was playing songs that they knew, and everyone else was singing with them. That's when I thought there was something interesting about this instrument. And it didn't hurt that the girl that I liked at that time had a thing for guys who played guitar as well. I had a cast at the time. I broke my elbow skateboarding, so I couldn't learn how to play as soon as I wanted. But because I had to wait for my cast to be off, it kind of made my excitement grew. And once my cast was finally off, I was off learning songs that I wanted to learn for the longest time. I honestly wonder sometimes if I would have learned the guitar as fast as I did if I didn't have that excitement that grew with waiting to learn it. But yeah, it didn't take long for me to bring my own guitar at school, and I was flexing on my classmates with the Super Mario theme, the SpongeBob theme, and the Pink Panther theme. And my 13-year-old classmates wondered when the hell did I learn the guitar. Next is have an image of what success would look like to you. Find your heroes. Perhaps one of the biggest inspirations that I had learning guitar was one of my cousins, Mark, who's more or less 10 years older than me, and by the time I was 12, he was already playing gigs regularly. He spent the holidays with us when I was 12, and he brought his guitar everywhere and played solo gigs for us, for the family. And that's really when I discovered what you can do with the instrument. I was mesmerized with how he could lift the energy up of a place with just the instrument and singing. Just instantly put everybody in a joyful mood. And that was also the first encounter that I had with a musician of this level, so obviously I thought it was like a guitar god, like a magician with a fucking instrument. So it was easier for me to figure out what I wanted to do with the guitar, because I didn't even need to figure it out. I was just emulating him. And the next 3 to 5 years of my life was just trying to do what he did on the guitar. And once I felt that I got that, that's when I kind of had an on and off relationship with the guitar. You know, I was pretty good with acoustic, and I was listening to punk rock, Blink-182, Green Day. And so I thought that was the only thing that you could do with an electric guitar, so it didn't really make sense for me to buy one. Then 2018 came around and I discovered John Mayer. He basically put the guitar back into my hands. And so being inspired by him, I look into his guitar heroes, and he put me into Stevie Ray Vaughan, Jimi Hendrix, B.B. King, Albert King, Clapton. And yeah, I kind of became a blues enthusiast. I wouldn't really say I'm a master of it yet, but it's a long enough path that excites me, and I'm just happy to kind of chase that path, discover my own sound for my own. Gather scattered information, then organize. Most specialized courses on the internet are just organized information of what's already out there and available in free content. So if you don't really want to pay for courses, like if you're a student or you just don't want to spend the money and you have time to learn the things that you want to learn, literally just go to YouTube, go to the search bar, put the topic that you want to learn, and then put basics. Whether that be video editing, graphics design, investing, starting a business, learning an instrument. You can get started with learning anything for free. And if you do have the money to spend, then obviously that would save you time. But I know that there are a lot of people that are underutilizing the free knowledge that is just readily available on YouTube. And you might argue,
Oh, they won't teach you everything in free content.
trust me, if the creator that you're watching is not teaching you something, somebody else, some creator out there in the same niche is teaching it. Maybe he's leaving it out because it's too niche, so some smaller YouTuber is gonna pick it up. But the point is, it's out there. You just haven't looked deep enough. Especially if the skill you're trying to learn is big enough, like it's popular enough, and it's been around a long time, like 10-20 years. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be out there. And if they really aren't teaching you everything, you have to know the 80-20 rule, or the Pareto principle as some would call it. I'm sure some of you already know it if you're into self-improvement, but if you don't, it simply means that in the information that is readily available and that is possible for you to learn, 20% of that will lead to 80% of the results that you want. Which means that you only have to determine what that 20% is and learn it and master it. Which in most cases would just be the basics and the fundamentals. The basics and fundamentals of learning guitar. The basics and fundamentals of video editing, graphics design. And in most cases, once you master the basics and fundamentals of that thing, you will usually be considered an advanced player. So in the context of music, in context of playing guitar, let's say the cowboy chords, intervals, triads, pentatonic scale, that sort of thing. Let's say when you are a video editor, obviously the basics of Premiere or DaVinci Resolve, if that's what you prefer. Team Premiere though. Maybe some film knowledge would help. In graphics design, you have the software and design principles. And for the last one, honestly, of all the things that I put in this list, of all the things that I previously mentioned, this is probably the most important. And if you forget everything and just remember this one thing, you'll be able to learn anything you want as fast as possible. And that is to embarrassingly figure it out and embrace your cringe. You have to accept that if you're learning something new, you're going to suck at it. You will feel embarrassed, you will feel humiliated at some point, or someone will humiliate you at some point. In boxing, you get knocked out. In basketball, someone drops you. You fail that guitar solo on stage in front of hundreds of people. Your ego is going to be challenged. And you have to understand that this is just part of learning something new. This is very hard for me to accept at first. And you'll be tempted to say that maybe this new thing just isn't for you. But the reality is, it's just part of it. And every professional of that thing has been in your position at some point. And once you do accept that, I promise you, you will feel like a weapon. Because at that point, there will be nothing holding you back from learning anything you want to learn. And this goes with improving at anything as well. When I first played as a lead guitarist in the band, I was too comfortable with the pentatonic scale and well, there's nothing wrong with that really, but I used it as a crutch. And when you get used to sounding good on the instrument, it's so hard to learn something new and basically you don't sound good again. And that takes a hit on your ego, especially if you've been playing the guitar for as long as I have, which is around 11 years on and off. But yeah, it's just a part of getting better. It's part of learning something new. If someone shows you up or talks down at you at being a beginner, well, first of all, it shows that they're not professional. Because in my experience, the most advanced players are usually the ones that are most humble. But if they do talk down on you, then just let them. You won't really stay a beginner forever. And they will beat you 100 times. But every time you fail, you learn something new. You keep trying, and one day you win one. Then you continue to learn, and then you beat them again. And then that's when you beat them 100 times over. I mean, it could be the most random thing. Like I have this one friend who is pretty good at Othello. I am usually a pretty competitive guy. So when we started playing online, she would just crush me every single day. But every single day I keep playing, even though I know I would lose. But I was already learning the game on the back end. And I was playing with random players online. Then eventually I get my game good enough that I beat her once. And then yeah, it became more competitive and that was just much more fun. It's really fun to see yourself progress through that. And it's fun to see their reaction on you improving as well. But yeah, that's how you become a self-taught anything. I honestly have a lot more to discuss on this topic, but I don't really want it to be a 30-minute video. But yeah, this is only my second video on this channel, but if you're watching this, it would really help if you would comment what you would prefer, 30-minute to an hour long form video or this well-edited 10-minute videos. Like, comment, share, subscribe. That's all for now. Peace out.